and you're going to fail, 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 and then you're going to win.
Build belief, build confidence to the point where nothing can hurt you because you know exactly who you are. You've faced your demons.
Today you have a choice. Will you live reactively, allowing life to happen to you, or will you choose to live proactively, taking responsibility for your actions, your outcomes, and your future?
Eventually, inaction will cost you. But your default setting should be, I'm going to do something. Just get up, move towards that challenge, and go attack it. Go do something that's hard.
Struggle sucks.
Depends on how you frame it. If you want freedom in your life, you have to have discipline. Move towards that challenge, whatever that challenge is. And you may be successful, and you may not be successful, but you will be better. And the next challenge, you're going to be more prepared for. Because we're going to have wins, we're going to have losses. We're going to have successes, we're going to have failures. We're going to have good nights, we're going to have bad nights. We're going to have good relationships, we're going to have bad relationships. We're going to have good ideas and bad ideas. We're going to make money, we're going to lose money. All these things are going to happen. And if you oscillate emotionally up and down drastically, it's going to be problematic. Embrace those emotions, but don't let those emotions embrace you. Keep pushing through things that suck. This is a very difficult thing to do because it hurts. I'm going to go forward. I'm not going to quit, so I'm going to go forward. Bring it on.
You've been able to go on an audiobook in your mind. Maybe you didn't write a book, but in your mind, you were able to hear all your past traumas. You were able to listen to them. You're able to fucking say, okay, now I can now talk to people about what I went through. I'm no longer embarrassed. I'm no longer ashamed. Being ashamed is one of the biggest things that kill people nowadays. In their minds, kill them from moving forward. I'm ashamed of myself. Don't ever be ashamed of anything you've done in your life. Face it, fix it, make it better. So when I talk to people, it's not sugar-coated because I'm not saying it from I was 175 pounds my whole life. I don't say much to those people. Maybe you're a piece of shit. Maybe you want to be nobody. Maybe you're happy exactly where you are in life, because obviously you are. Maybe you don't have the determination to be somebody better than who you are.
The power is in your hands. Choose wisely. Choose to be proactive. Today we are going to dive deep into the very first and most fundamental habit of highly effective people: be proactive. This habit is where it all begins. It's the foundation upon which all other habits are built. If you truly want to transform your life, if you want to break free from the patterns that have been holding you back, if you want to rise above the challenges and obstacles that life throws your way, you have to start here. This habit is about far more than just taking action. It's about taking responsibility for your life. It's about understanding that you are in control, not of everything that happens to you, but of how you respond to it. That's the essence of personal power. Being proactive means that instead of letting life happen to you, you take charge of your life. It's about recognizing that you are not merely a product of your environment, your circumstances, or even your upbringing. Yes, those things have an impact, but they don't define you. What defines you is how you choose to respond to them. Being proactive is not about reacting to external stimuli or waiting for the perfect conditions to act. It's about realizing that the power to act lies within you right now, in this very moment.
When you talk to people that went to SEAL training that didn't make it, most of the time, it's some reason. There's a medical reason, there's a family problem. There's very few people that look at you and say, oh, I quit because it sucked, which is what happens to the vast majority of people. The vast majority of people that don't make it through SEAL training, they didn't make it through because they quit. Your excuses will destroy you and take everything that you ever wanted from you if you let them. When your excuses make you feel a little bit better about the fact that you didn't execute on what you needed to execute on, then they can make you feel better, but they're not helping you. They're not helping you at all. This went wrong, this failed, didn't accomplish this, and it's not the fault of my boss. It's not the fault of my girlfriend. It's not the fault of my parents. It's not the fault of the weather. It's my fault. And I'm going to take ownership of it and I'm going to fix it. That's what extreme ownership is. Because when you look around at your life and you look around at your job and your financial situation and your relationship and your physical health, and when you look at all those things and all the problems that you may have with those things, and you say, the reason I have all those problems is because of me, that can hurt. That can sting. And a lot of times our ego rejects that and makes excuses and lies. And then we don't have to change anything. And then nothing changes. When the excuses all go away and people can actually confront the fact that this is all because of me, it hurts, but is also unbelievably empowering. Because the more discipline you have in your life, the more freedom you will end up with. So if you lack the discipline to exercise and eat healthy, you will end up being a slave to disease. If you lack the discipline to work hard, save your money, you will end up a slave to finances. If you lack the discipline to manage your time correctly, you will end up with no free time. If you have self-discipline, if you have the discipline to save your money and work hard and invest your money properly, if you have the discipline to manage your time correctly and not waste a bunch of time, if you have the discipline to exercise and eat healthy, you will end up with freedom. And you're going to start to progress in every aspect of your life. And you'll see that if you have that kind of discipline right now, you're going to end up with freedom. If you have discipline, you will attain freedom. Go try and accomplish something that's hard. You may win, you may lose, you may succeed, you may fail. I'll tell you what, you'll be better. And if you don't have that kind of discipline and you don't work hard and you don't exercise and you don't apply yourself, you're gonna end up shackled. So if you're in the woods and you don't know where to go, start walking. You got to start walking because the perspective's not going to change. You have to start moving forward. But standing there lost and not doing anything is just waiting to die, waiting to starve to death. Don't let that happen.
And if you want to live with that, I'll support you in that. If you're good with being who you are, that every day you wake up and every day you smell like shit because you can't wash your body well, and your skin's messed up because your health's so bad, and you can't put your clothes on right, you need help with that. You need help, like when I was doing, I need help wiping my ass. That makes you feel good? Nothing I can say to you. If every day you wake up with this, see, people are haunted, but they obviously like horror films because they keep watching the same fucking movie. I don't like horror films. A lot of people like horror films. So I don't say much to them. I say exactly what I said to you. Right there. Because I was once you. I didn't like horror films, so I changed it. I have this haunting voice in the back of my head. A lot of us have it. We just ignore it. And it was there for years. So I knew in the back of my mind that I could pull off this whatever I wanted. I knew I could. I knew that, but I was afraid of the work because I wasn't gifted with brains. I wasn't gifted with God-given talent as far as like athleticism. So I knew to get to where I had to go, to be on the same playing field as these men, to even try out for this program, I knew the work was going to be something that I didn't want to even attack. So I was just putting it off because it haunted me. The voice in my head said, you know what, man? You're going to die never even trying to reach your full potential. And how's that going to feel? So I'm going to live even while I'm dead. I'm going to be, because I believe in a higher power, whatever it may be. I don't know what it is. I believe that your mind lives forever. Some spirit, something lives forever. I'm going to be haunted by the mere fact that I literally just, that's what I was.
You wasted that life.
That's what I was, man.
And you look back and here lies David Goggins
a punk. That's it. And I get to live. So whatever heaven or hell is, you're in hell the rest of your life. The rest of your life. And if there is a God, which I hope to God there is, knowing what I put myself through now, whatever memories I have, if there's any at all, I'll be a happy man. But I knew that I was getting paid for this while I was living or while I was dead. I was getting paid for this. Because basically, to me, it was a huge sin. I'm basically just going to sit here and just be a comfortable man. I'm not even going to try. Some people are just, they become, like you said, it gets real small when you're lazy and you're fat. Their will is so small that they don't have any, and you can't give it to them. There has to be something. This is what I'm talking about now, because this isn't a hack. This has to be in you. Something in you has to wake up. And usually the only person that can wake it up is you. Sometimes you can read a David Goggins book because I was all this shit and then a lot more of fucked up. But if you don't have a little flame, just barely, you're done. I can't light it for you. And that's the harsh reality of this life that I want to get across so fucking bad. You can watch me, you can watch you, you can watch fucking Rogan and Cameron Haynes, all these motherfuckers. You can go to Tony Robbins's fucking bullshit, all this shit. You can do all this shit. If you could keep going back and keep spending money and spending money and spending money with no results, you can wonder, wow, maybe let me go try out David Goggins. He ain't gonna fucking help you. You have to explore, examine the insides of yourself. And what do you really want out of life? Your friend, and a lot of people out here, just don't fucking want it. So guess what? Have fun with your life.
Let's be clear, being proactive is a mindset. It's a shift in perspective that changes the way you see the world and your place in it. Reactive people wait for things to happen, and when they do, they react to them often with emotions, impulses, or negative patterns. They blame external factors for their failures or frustrations. They blame their boss, their spouse, the economy, the weather, or their past for where they are in life. But proactive people live by a different rule. They understand that between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies their greatest power, the power to choose. That choice is everything. When you choose to be proactive, you are essentially reclaiming your personal freedom. You are declaring that you will no longer be a victim of your circumstances, no longer a passive observer in your own life, but an active creator of it. You are taking responsibility for your own happiness, success, and well-being. This mindset is transformative because it puts you back in the driver's seat. It empowers you to make decisions based on your values and principles, not based on the situation you find yourself in at any given moment. It's about being guided by your inner compass rather than being swayed by external forces. Proactivity starts with a deep awareness of what I call your circle of influence and your circle of concern. Think about it this way in life. There are always going to be things that concern you, things you worry about or care about. These could be global issues like politics, the environment, or social injustice. They could be personal issues like your job, your relationships, or your health. But within that large circle of concern, there's a smaller circle, and that is your circle of influence, the things you can actually control or affect. The secret to being proactive is focusing on your circle of influence and expanding it through your positive actions, while not wasting time or energy on things that are outside your control. Reactive people tend to focus on their circle of concern. They spend their time worrying about things they can't control, like what other people think or do, the weather, or the past. But proactive people focus on what they can control, their own thoughts, attitudes, and behaviors. They don't waste time blaming others or feeling helpless. Instead, they focus on taking meaningful, positive action in the areas where they have influence. And here's the key. As you focus more on your circle of influence, it begins to grow. The more proactive you are, the more influence you gain over your own life and even the world around you. This principle applies to every aspect of your life, your career, your relationships, your health, your personal development. When you stop reacting to the things you can't control and start proactively working on the things you can, everything changes. Your energy shifts, your mindset shifts. You move from a place of powerlessness to a place of empowerment, and that's where real transformation begins. Being proactive also means understanding that you are responsible for your life. Responsibility is not a burden, it's a gift. It's the realization that your life is a product of your own choices, not your conditions. This is one of the most liberating truths you can ever embrace. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop blaming others for your problems. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting for someone else to fix things for you. Instead, you take ownership of your decisions and your outcomes. You realize that no matter what happens, you have the power to shape your response, and in shaping your response, you shape your future. This doesn't mean that proactive people don't experience setbacks, failures, or challenges. Of course they do. But the difference is that they don't let those setbacks define them. They don't fall into the trap of self-pity or victimhood. Instead, they look at every challenge as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to improve. They take responsibility for their mistakes, and they do whatever it takes to get back on track. This is what I call responsibility, the ability to choose your response, no matter the situation. Being proactive is about making deliberate, intentional choices that move you closer to your goals. It's about living your life based on your values and principles rather than being driven by circumstances or emotions. It's about being purposeful in everything you do. Whether it's your career, your personal life, or your health, proactivity means taking the initiative to make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen to you. One of the key elements of being proactive is the ability to act on what I call first creation. Everything is created twice, first in your mind and then in reality. If you want to achieve something in life, whether it's a personal goal or a professional aspiration, you first have to create it mentally. You have to visualize it, plan it, and commit to it in your mind before you can bring it to life in the physical world.
I think it's really important because as men, we get conflicting messages about emotion and how to express it and what that looks like. And there's a lot of men struggling right now.
Every human faces challenges, and you don't know what they've been through. Suppressing them isn't going to help, and nor is letting them run your life. Because you're sad, now you're going to make a bunch of bad decisions because you're sad. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You're sad, okay. You get emotional sometimes, okay. Got it. Now, get control of your emotions and carry on with your life. And sometimes you're going to get hit with those waves. And that's okay. Oh, I'm having an emotional moment right now. There's something wrong with me. No, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. The other extreme is, oh, I'm letting my emotions run my life and I'm making a bunch of bad decisions. And my excuse is, well, I lost some friends or I had this traumatic experience happen to me. That's why I'm doing. That's just an excuse. And it's a very easy excuse. Guess what? It's time to carry on. Remember, don't dwell. I'm in control. This is my life. If you are in the problem, you won't see the solution to the problem. Take a step back, detach from the chaos, detach from the mayhem, detach from your emotions, detach from your ego, and be able to assess the best way to execute. That is the job of a leader.
Go from 3 to 350 to 400 to 450 to 500 because you don't want it. And that's the harsh reality. I can't give you shit. You can't give them shit. I can give you ideas. But at the end of the day, when I was losing the weight, I had to miserably wake up every morning in the cold because it was Indiana, November when it started. I was miserable. This is your new life. Take it or leave it. There's no happiness about it. There's no peace behind it. It sucks. It just fucking sucks. I developed a reality that wasn't real. That's the thing we always do. We can have a great life, but we always build this reality around the one thing we don't have. So therefore, our great life, we don't even see it. We see the one piece of clothing we weren't able to get versus the amazing things we have. So we focus on that. I was the king of focusing on the one bad thing in my life. The one bad person called me nigger. Everything bad, I focused on that. But over here was a beautiful reality of my life. Even though I came from nothing, where I could have taken my mind for the possibilities of where I can go if I work harder. That was all over here. But I lived in the filth over here. So basically, what I started doing was, when I was 297, I thought about, my God, man, like this could be my life. And I thought, okay, what does heaven look like? I don't know. No one does, I imagine. So I was like, okay, I imagine that there's a big long line and you got judgment and you're God. Let's say you're God and I'm just David Goggins. Big long line and you're talking to Jane Doe. Jane Doe goes by and behind you is a big whiteboard. And the whiteboard has like just a piece of paper and you pull it down. The next person in line is David Goggins. And on this board, it has all this stuff on it, but I can't see because I'm too far back in line. So I come up, I sit down now, you're talking to me. David, congratulations, you made it to heaven, how you feel? And right now I'm a 300-pound man, Ecolab guy, I'm 71 years old. This is what I'm thinking at 24 years old, okay? I'm dead, I'm in heaven, you're God.
Proactive people understand this. They are constantly creating their lives through intentional thought and purposeful action. Now, let me be clear, proactivity is not about being hyperactive. It's not about constantly doing things just for the sake of doing them. It's about making meaningful, thoughtful decisions that are aligned with your long-term goals and values. It's about being disciplined and focused in your actions. It's about being deliberate in how you spend your time and energy. Proactive people don't just act, they act with purpose. Let's talk for a moment about the difference between reactive language and proactive language. You can tell a lot about whether someone is living reactively or proactively just by listening to the words they use. Reactive people tend to use language that reflects their sense of powerlessness. They say things like, I can't, I have to, if only they made me, or there's nothing I can do. This kind of language reveals a mindset that is focused on external forces they believe they cannot control. Proactive people, on the other hand, use language that reflects their sense of responsibility and power. They say things like, I choose, I will, I can, let's figure this out, or here's what I'm going to do. They focus on what they can control, and they take ownership of their decisions. They don't make excuses, they don't blame others. They don't play the victim. Instead, they focus on finding solutions and taking action. Proactive people are also deeply aware of the importance of values. They live their lives based on their core values rather than on the circumstances they find themselves in. This is a crucial distinction. Reactive people are often driven by emotions, by what's happening around them or to them in the moment. If things are going well, they feel good and act accordingly. But if things are going badly, they react with frustration, anger, or despair. Proactive people, however, are guided by their values, not by external conditions. They act based on what's most important to them, even when it's difficult. They don't let temporary setbacks derail them from their long-term goals. They don't allow the opinions of others to dictate their actions. They stay focused on what really matters to them, and they make decisions that are in line with their highest values. At the core of proactivity is a sense of purpose. Proactive people know what they want out of life, and they make choices that move them closer to that vision. They don't drift aimlessly or allow themselves to be swayed by distractions. Instead, they are intentional and purposeful in everything they do. They are clear on their goals, and they take consistent, deliberate action toward achieving them. To embody effectiveness, the first step is to recognize one fundamental truth: we are in control of our actions. We cannot control everything that happens to us, but we do have absolute control over how we respond. This is a powerful realization, one that transforms our perspective on life itself. The moment we understand that we have the capacity to choose our responses, we unlock the ability to direct the course of our own lives. Our ability to make choices, to be proactive, is one of the greatest gifts we possess. Life, by its very nature, is full of unpredictability.
You pull the paper down, it says David Goggins. I'm reading it. And I'm looking at it, It has my name, but on this paper, it says everything about you. Everything, because God knows all. And I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing 185 pounds, Navy SEAL, changed people's lives, all these amazing things. Public speaker, blah, 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 motivational, all the best-selling book. I look at God and say, God, the name is right, but what's on here is not me. He goes, it should have been you. This was the life that you were supposed to live, but you didn't try. So this is the life that you have. So what I think to myself is, are you in heaven? Am I talking to God or am I talking to the devil? Because I'm in hell now to see that was supposed to be my life, but because I didn't try hard enough, because I didn't put forth every single bit of an ounce of pressure in my body into being better, they ended up being a 300-pound guy that made $1,000 a month, and I was fine there. That was okay. So that's how my mind works. It works that way to see, where is this going to take me? What's the possibility? You know, I worked out so hard, I didn't have time to stretch, man. I was running 150 miles a week. I was biking to work, man. I was getting after it, man. I was working a full-time job. And stretching and doing that. So my body was literally getting tighter and tighter, not just from what I was doing. Everybody thinks, oh, because you ran this. No, it wasn't that, man. And so I said, no, I'm going to try to stretch out. So I don't do anything for like 10 minutes. Or, you know, I don't do no 6-minute abs bullshit. So I started stretching out 1 hour, hour and a half. Long story short, man, I shave my head almost every morning. And that bump that was on the back of my fucking head, I started realizing it was shrinking for some fucking reason. I don't know why, because I shaved my head back and I was like, it's getting smaller. Smaller that bump got, healthier I got. Smaller that bump got, I was like, oh, hold up, motherfucker, what's going on? That psoas muscle started getting more and more stressed out, more and more relaxed. And over a period of 5 years, I'm in the best shape of my damn life right now from stretching out.
Wow.
That's all it was. I went from like, I can't even count the medications I was on. Now I'm on a very low dose thyroid pill. Period.
Do you ever do yoga?
All the time, man. All the time. And I if I were to tell somebody one thing right now, man, that psoas muscle and getting that hip flexor opened up, because we're all stressed the fuck out. It's so much worse than others. It changed my life. The impact I want to have in the world is for everybody to be able to face who they are. I want to have that kind of impact where you can go on TV. You can put your life on a billboard. You're not ashamed of who you are. You're not ashamed of what life made you, what you helped life make you. All that shit, all that bad shit that's now in this big pot that's stirring, you're no longer ashamed of it. You realize we're all f***ed up. Stop judging yourself against other f***ed up people who have hidden it better than you. That's all they've done. They've mastered their shit better than you have, and now they're flipping it back on you and saying you're f***ed up. I want you to realize that this world, life, is one big head game. And once you learn to play the head game, it's no longer a game anymore at all. You can start living your life.
Circumstances beyond our control can hit us at any moment. Changes in the economy, sudden challenges at work, disruptions in our personal lives, and even random occurrences like the weather. It is easy to fall into the trap of reacting to these things, feeling as though we are simply victims of circumstance. But that is where the idea of being proactive becomes transformative. Proactivity is about taking control of our own lives. It's about realizing that we are not merely subject to the whims of fate or circumstance. We have the power to determine our own destinies. Being proactive means acting based on principles and values, not moods or external conditions. It requires us to pause, assess, and respond rather than immediately reacting to whatever situation we face. Think about it this way: between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies our freedom to choose. The power to decide what our actions will be, regardless of what has been done to us, is where true empowerment lies. This space is not controlled by the external world, it belongs to us. Consider for a moment the lives of highly effective individuals. These people face challenges just like everyone else, but what differentiates them is their ability to make decisions based on their values. They do not let circumstances dictate their behavior. Instead, they take ownership of their lives and choices. In doing so, they become the creators of their own futures. It's important to note that this kind of proactivity is not the same as mere action or busy work. Many people confuse activity with effectiveness, assuming that as long as they are doing something, they are being productive. But proactivity requires thoughtfulness and intentionality. It means understanding your core principles, which you truly value, and letting those guide your decisions. When you operate from this place of inner clarity, your actions align with your goals and your energy is directed toward things that genuinely matter.